Hey guys, it's your girl, and I'm back with another one. And today we're checking out 11 things not to do in Australia. It said this is one is a must see before you go. And I'm getting this one from Carl McKinley. The link will be in the description below. Please go over and show him some love. All right. So if you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this one. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the subscribe. You won't regret it, huh? Do my regular schmegulars day one to the parts to the pools. Come on in right back. Put a smile on your face and enjoy. Let's hear these 11 things you're not to do in Australia. Here goes.
Australia is many things. It's a continent that makes up the 6th largest country in the world and is home to some of the most dangerous creatures on the planet. And no, I'm not just talking about Australians. With a little over 8.5 million people visiting each year, tourism is a huge part of Australia's economy. That being said, there are a number of things to look out for when you're there. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
Number 1, don't stray from the path. With over 66 different venomous species, which is the 3rd largest concentration in the world, by the way, it's important to know where you are at all times. Now, this is especially true if you plan on trekking or camping in the outback, with things like the common brown snake, box jellyfish, and crocodiles. There's no shortage of dangerous animals here, so it's important that you stay on the path when you're exploring. And that goes for warning signs as well, because while it may seem funny to some people from different countries, here they're very real and should be taken seriously.
No. I saw that. Ooh, my body was like, hey, baby. When he's feeding that eye. This is 66 different venomous. Oh, baby. Nah, don't stray from the path. Stay on it. Don't take those signs lightly. Listen to them because it's no joke. Oh, wow. Let's find out the next one. So cute.
Number 2, don't underestimate the cost. Australia is known for having one of the highest living costs in the world. And traveling there is no different. Now, of course, this is all subjective depending on where you go and where you're from, but it still might surprise you to hear that a beer costs around $9 Australian. And a meal at a mid-range restaurant costs around 40. Now, all in all, if you're really trying to save money, you can get it down to around 100 Australian dollars per day. And I'll just throw that number out there as an average. But between transportation, food, and lodging, the prices can get a bit expensive. So it's important that you price out your trip accordingly.
Don't underestimate. Is Australian dollar less or more than the US? That's my question, because I don't know what currency you guys use. So that's the reason why I'm asking, because he's like, Australian, you'll pay $9. So if you're going out, you're not spending nothing on $100 based on where you go. So it's a very expensive. And he says it's the most expensive in the world. I was like, ow. So if you're planning a vacation, you better have some good money, pretty much.
Number 3. And this is a short one. Don't say shrimp on the barbie. And this phrase was popularized by a 1980s ad with Paul Hogan, who was later in Crocodile Dundee. And it was sponsored by the Australian Tourism Commission to try to bring in international travelers. Well, this is absolutely not what an Australian would say. If they would even use that phrase at all, they would say prawn, not shrimp. So don't make it more annoying than it already is.
Do not say shrimp on the barbie. That is funny.
Number 4, drinking in Australia.
Okay.
Now for this one, I'm mainly talking about major cities, specifically Sydney. So don't quote me on the rest of the country. But in Sydney, you can't get a beer after 1:30 in the morning because they have something called a lockout law, which means no one is allowed in or out of bars past that point in time. And their last call is at 3 in the morning. And of course, don't drink and try and drive because they have one of the lowest blood alcohol content levels, 0.05, before you can be arrested. Last but not least, don't order Foster's beer. That's not an Australian thing. That's an American thing. Instead, try and order a bottle of Bundaberg. My Aussie friends will know why I'm laughing.
Huh?
Number 5.
Is that beer in the toilet? That's ew. If that's the case, but said don't drink. So don't drink. The last drink call is 1:30 a.m. That's late when you think about it. No. Lying. So you don't order after 1:30. So if you're inside the bar, you're free to stay up in there until 3 o'clock. Don't drink and drive. Your limit is pretty low. That alcohol limit is no joke. I don't blame you, because who wants to be buzz and drive? If you buzz and drive, yeah, you can cause a life. So I'm on board with that. Your establishment's nightlife, it stays open until late. I like that.
Don't underestimate its size. Australia is a country with about 25 million people, and because it's a continent, it's made up of almost 7.6 million square kilometers. And despite the fact that the majority of its population is clustered around the coasts, in urban areas, it still means that as a tourist, it's going to take a long time to get from place to place. So it's important to take a look at exactly how long it's going to take you to complete your itinerary. Number 6, don't always tip. Now, unlike some countries, tipping isn't required in Australia. And that's mainly because their minimum wage is the highest in the world, at around $18.93 an hour. Now, in places like the US, waitstaff require tips to earn a living wage, because the national minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Now, if you have great service, for sure you should tip the person. All I'm saying is you won't be scorned like in the US if you don't.
So Australia does not have a tipping culture. I'm on board with that. And their minimum wage is $18. What? Are you serious? I can see why, because they're getting paid well. Oh my word. Okay, and then he said, make sure that you know your itinerary from point A to point B, because don't underestimate the size or the time or the journey it takes you to get to one place from one place to the next, because it's a very huge place.
Number 7, don't rely on public transport. Now, because Australia is so big and so spread out, public transport is difficult to find outside major cities. You know, it's not like Europe where you can take a train to a small town, hop off, and then hop onto another train to another small town. Australia is just too big for that to be feasible. So you're better off finding other ways to get around. Number 8.
I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking it would be like Europe, where they can travel from transportation or transit is top notch. So you can get it from point A to point B. As a tourist, you don't have to stress. But he's saying, nope, that's not the case. You need to figure it out, because in smaller places, then transportation is kind of sketchy. Interesting.
Don't talk about immigration. Now, forgive me if I have to generalize a bit in order to get the point across. But for the most part, many Australians dislike the way that the government handles immigration, whether they're anti-immigration or whether they're disgusted by the way the government handles refugees. Of course, there's all the people in between. But the bottom line is that immigration is a big deal in Australia, and it's easier to avoid the topic.
Why talk about that, though, if you're a tourist? I wouldn't. I wouldn't see the need to talk about something like that. That's just me. But yeah, I know people can discuss or say weird things.
Number 9, don't take anything personally. Now, Australians always seem to be joking around, and insults are one of the ways that they do that. But don't make the mistake of thinking they mean anything by it. There's a funny saying where you know that an Australian doesn't like you if they don't insult you, because it means that they actually think there's something wrong with you and that it'll offend you. Go figure. So take everything with a grain of salt.
That in itself sounds like the British culture, like the European culture, where when they say something, take it with a grain of salt. Don't be flustered or get mad about what they say. They don't mean anything by it. I like that. I'm down for that. Yeah, I like that.
Number 10. Don't be afraid to say hello. Australians have a pretty well-deserved reputation for being laid back. And like I was talking about before with the kidding around, they're good at taking things in stride, which makes it easy as a tourist to make friends. And talking to people is a must.
So this is one that I like, because majority of the time you hear don't say hello, especially with the videos when I watch about Europe or UK or anything. They are not necessarily friendly, so avoid. Don't be obnoxious. Don't be loud. And yeah, I'm not saying you're supposed to be loud, but what they're saying is they're easy to talk to. They're not snobbies. They like talking to you, so they're pretty much friendly if you say hello. So I guess if I'm sitting on the bus with one of them, I can say hello and not feel awkward.
Last but not least, number 11. Make sure you enjoy Australia. Australia is such a cool place with so many fun and interesting people, and there's so much to do there. It's important to keep in mind that these are all general guidelines and tips that I find out while I was there. And I'm sure you'll have a fantastic time while you're there.
Oh, wow. I like his tips. They're to the point, they're direct, they tell you exactly what not to do, things that, and it makes sense. When you go somewhere, you try your best to fit in and not stand out. Enjoy your trip. That's the whole purpose of you going there, to explore and to have fun and to have a memorable trip. So why not? Be the best you can be and enjoy and explore and have fun. That's how I see it. I definitely want to visit Down Under. There's no question about that. It's also on the places on the list of places that I would love to visit. But it's not in my number one spot right now. You never know. As I continue to look, you never know where it maybe end up in number 2. But for the time being, it's on the list. That's for sure. It's your island girl. Come on in, right back with a smiling face. Is there something else you'd like me to check out? Leave it in the comment section. Your girl got you. Love you guys. Be good, be safe. Put a smile on your face. You never know who you may cheer up, because you don't know what's going on in someone's life. Love you guys. And I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye, guys.